What's going on, guys? Welcome to part 2 of our interview with Chuntillo. My name's Kara Presents.
I'm Julian.
And yeah, welcome to the Nostalgia Bait. And let's keep going with this. We had a great conversation, so we're just going to go on to the next thing. But, you know, as always, we have our special guest with us, Eduardo.
Hello there. I got stuck in this voice. This is going to be the voice I do for the whole episode. Look at me. Here we are.
If you don't do it the whole time, I'm going to get very upset. Like,
no, I gave up
here,
already.
actually.
I'm sorry. I gave up. Sorry. I actually gave up already. Sorry.
I'm going to hate crime.
Sorry. Oh, no. Oh, wait. You know what? I already hate crime. I think crime is bad, and so I hate it.
Wow.
Real.
Thank you.
Yeah. Would you call what Batman does a crime, though?
Good question. Very philosophical of you. If the cops themselves don't do anything and Batman takes matters into his own hands, is he himself a criminal? That's a good question.
Ah, yes. You bring up.
Is that what you meant to
points.
be asking, or did I insinuate?
That is somehow what I was asking. Yeah.
Interesting.
You don't need to answer it. I don't expect you to have an answer on 80 years of Batman.
Okay, good. I gave up already. Just like the voice, I kind of gave up on coming up with an answer for this. We're going to say yes, because if not, people will come in and be like, well, actually, Batman is a Jesus type persona because he's there to get deliver Gotham from evil, you know? Yeah, I don't have time to fight with you. You're right, okay? I'll give it to you, okay? You're right, all right?
Whoever you are
right.
listening, you're right.
Whoever
right?
you are, listen here. What's the guy who's the guy who invented Batman?
Bill Finger.
Listen here, Bill Hader, or what did you say?
Bill Hader is an actual dude, though. we're talking directly to Bill Hader, honestly.
Listen here, Bill Hader. Yeah.
It's Bill Finger. It's said it's Bob Kane, but that dude's in hell, so it's Bill Finger.
Man, rip.
I don't care what people say.
Dude,
Sorry, guy. Rip.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. But yeah, Bill Finger. Bill Finger is responsible for everything that you like about Batman, basically.
Oh, okay. So how he has no parents, and how he's sad all the time, and how he's kind of antisocial.
Yeah, and like he created the Joker and the Riddler, like a lot of the really good rosters, and he drew it. And the costume for Batman.
Yeah.
Bob Kane wanted to be like a Robin, more like a Robin kind of thing, and he wanted to be like
more colorful, right?
Right. Yeah. And he was the one who wanted to stick to more of like the darker tones and like, you know, like monochromatic type look, and like more of like he's like an idea more than he's like a Superman kind of character.
Understood.
So
no, that's cool.
Exactly. So everything you love about Batman is Bill Finger.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, thank you, Bill Hader. Wherever you are.
Bill Hader.
Oh,
Shout
Bill
out
Finger.
to Bill Hader.
Shout out Bill Hader, man. Barry's a great show. So listen, Bill Hader. The moral of the story is whoever is listening, if we say an opinion that you disagree with, guess what? You're right. Regardless, you're right.
All right, guys, but now I have to really bring up to you guys the reason why I came on this podcast, which I should have hinted at last episode, but I didn't. I have a gripe, and I told you guys on Discord what my gripe was.
I know exactly.
We don't have to go very in depth into it.
No, I need 2 hours of us talking about this.
I needed a platform to express my grievances to Hollywood. And I heard that this podcast was a direct line to Hollywood. Mr. Hollywood himself. That's what they told me.
Whoever told you all that stuff is very wrong. I think we're the farthest from Hollywood that we could all be, because none of us are in LA. So
you're right.
You know.
Okay, well, let's pretend like this is a direct line to Mr. Hollywood himself.
This is a direct line. I can call Kevin Spacey right now.
Right?
Please do.
Call out. Why do you want to talk to Kevin Spacey? He's just going to do a weird monologue in his House of Cards character. We don't. Yes, but no. Yes, but later.
It's also weird. I don't know who's like a good person. You know what? I'll call up Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, what's he up to? Is he okay?
I think he's fine. He's never done anything wrong ever.
Yeah. We were talking about another fine fellow before we started filming, but you know what? Harvey Weinstein, also a nice fellow.
All right. Yeah, I'll call Mr. Hollywood. All right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly a nice fellow.
Allegedly a nice fellow, but only to himself. He's the only one who alleges he's a nice fellow.
Okay, so
Anyway,
if I dialed this number to Mr. Hollywood, what am I supposed to say?
I have a problem with today's quote unquote musical movies. All right. I grew up in prime High School Musical era. All right.
Yes.
1, 2, and 3. Okay. In second grade, I convinced a whole bunch of my friends to perform We're All in This Together for the entire pre-K to 5th grade. All right. In third grade, I sung by myself Bet on It by the beloved Troy Bolton. Right.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with, for example, this is an example. I have multiple other examples. I have a problem with the newest Mean Girls movie because I didn't see it. My sisters and my mom went to go see it and they're like, it's meh. And I'm like, oh, well, not worth my time to go watch it in the movie theater. But then the criminals of the internet led me to see one of the renditions of one of the songs by, I think it's who's the blonde young lady that's in the Spider-Man movies?
Oh, I don't know her name. She plays Betty Brant though, right?
Yeah. She plays Betty Brant. This is I can't pronounce her name. Her last name's Rice though, so I'm just gonna call her Rice, Miss Rice, where she's like singing, but like she has one of those weird. Either she's holding on to the camera and singing, but while walking, so you're getting like her point of view or whatever. And this movie, listen to me, this musical movie was directed by 2 people and cost $36 million. Let's go back in time to the year of our Lord.
2000.
What year was this? No, it wasn't 2000 again. No, this is another year of our Lord.
It was
Year of our Lord
2008.
2008. No, 2008 to High School Musical 3 because it was the only one that got a cinematic release, a theatrical release. Sorry.
Yes.
It was the only one that got a theatrical release. Directed by one uber talented Kenny Ortega, who, by the way, does have a little blue link on his Wikipedia, unlike the 2 directors for Mean Girls, so that should tell you everything. And it only costs $11 million. Do you know what this movie did? It did the Inception thing with Zac Efron, where they put him in a box and they rolled around the box as if his like universe was spinning and he was walking as he did it. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It did that. And you're going to tell me that in 2008, with a third of the budget, Kenny Ortega and Disney was able to do that, but Mean Girls has to have their main star just holding the camera as they walk?
Yeah.
I have thoughts, and this is just one of them. I also don't think the songs are very good. There's just something about them singing it that I'm like, this doesn't sound real. Whereas in High School Musical, I cried. And this is my gripe, and that's it. We don't have to go any further than this. But I'm just upset at musicals because I'm like, what about the next generation, right? I was influenced by High School Musical, but that was early 2000s. What are the kids going to have now? What if we lose musical aficionados because there aren't any like movies that first catch their attention? Then they say, well, I want to be part of like a drama club, or I want to be part of like musical production, et cetera, et cetera. You know?
Right. I get that.
Anyway,
don't worry.
That's not what this podcast
YouTube
is about, but here I am.
Covered.
Yeah.
Who has this covered?
YouTube diss tracks. That's going to be the new generation.
God,
Diss tracks.
God, I hope not. Oh man, why'd you say it like that?
Oh God.
I thought you'd be happy.
Well, you know, not as happy
It's
as
the
I
next
could be.
generation. It's the next generation. Eduardo.
All the low gangers.
Oh, come on, not the low gangers.
I'm not going to speak for Julian, but I think we need to get very in depth with this. I think part of it has to do with, I think earlier it's more of the thing of, I think more actors used to be in stage plays and all that stuff. So I think the height of that used to be a lot more. I'm not saying they don't do that now. Like I think Walker has also done some of that stuff too.
Right.
And you can see it in his performance and stuff. But yeah, like I think a lot of that has to do with like not as many people I think who act now probably do things like stage plays and stuff anymore. But I imagine if you go to like art school, drama school, whatever, that's like a thing you have to do, I imagine.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe that's like an older thing. Yeah, I don't know why it's as bad. Because look, High School Musical is a classic, and It's not just the actors, it's the staging, it's the way they did the everything. High School Musical 2 is just as awesome. You know, High School Musical 3 is a great capper to everything. And I think everything is just remakes now. I think that's the issue a little bit, because what have we had since then?
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Wait, is Wonka a musical?
Yes, I have gripes with that as well. Yes. So technically, if you look at the original one, because it's supposed to be, I think, taking inspiration from the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka version of the character, he has two main songs, right?
Yeah.
What is it? What's the song? Come with me.
Your imagination.
In a world of right? There's that one, and the Oompa Loompa. Song, and that's it. Those are the only two songs in it. But they're like, how can we, one, give them a backstory, an origin story? And you're like, we're gonna see the castle, and yeah, we see the castle or whatever. And then two, how can we turn it into a musical? Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure you take away the songs, the movie's like 45 minutes long, and the songs aren't great, which again is weird because you look at Timothée Chalamet. What's up? By what?
Like, what do you mean the songs aren't good?
Oh man. Well,
what about the hit lines and there's chocolate? That was like a great line.
And there's chocolate.
That's peak.
It's weird though, because I think you're right though. There is a need for like musical things, because I think the success of La La Land has to do with it. But I don't think La La Land is the best version of that. You know, I enjoy that movie, but by no means is it like my favorite musical at all. You know, and they did like In the Heights. They did West Side Story recently.
West Side Story, which is also a remake. West Side Story is a remake,
right?
Which I forgot to mention. Mean Girls is technically based on a movie based on a musical. Which is weird that they're like, well, you know, it was already a musical. Well, shouldn't this 2024 movie be the best version of that story because it's a musical?
Right. No, you're right. But you'd imagine so, because it's how it originally is. It's kind of like the My Fair Lady thing, where it's like people know it as a movie and stuff, but it was a play, and it like had like a whole, you know, transition to it before it became that very successful Audrey Hepburn 60s movie, whatever. It's one of the, you know, it's kind of funny because my friend brought up that something they should do is all these studios are trying to make remakes of good movies. Like Mean Girls is cinema. All right, we gotta talk about that.
It's an icon. It's a staple.
It's iconic.
100%. Yeah.
But he was saying like, what, all these studios are trying to remake good movies. Why don't they try to remake bad movies? Like movies that had great concepts but terrible execution. You know? And I feel like there's a lot of musicals like that.
Off the top of y'all's head, any movie, whether it be a musical or not, what movie do you think should be remade? That way it's better.
Cowboys versus Aliens.
That's a good answer. Although I did like it, but that's a good answer.
That is a great answer.
That was fast. Good for you.
Holy shit. He had that in his back pocket and knew where to take it.
Wow, you've been waiting.
He knew.
Wow.
Dude, I've been waiting for ages
That's a
for someone to ask
answer.
this.
Wow.
What would you like that they like do with that?
More cowboys, more aliens.
He's right. That movie was too slow. Yeah, no. He's right. That movie was like, well, is it like future technology? There was a lot of mystery. And look, this isn't me talking bad about baby boy Jon Favreau. Because I like his movies. No, I like his movies. Yeah. And I thought that was a good movie. But the build up to that concept it takes too long for the payoff. Yeah. So you want to get into those. I mean, are you kidding me? A huge, big flying saucer versus little cowboy people with hats and pew, pew, pew guns.
Right.
Like, that's the premise of your movie. You start with that battle. You don't give me a Daniel Craig who was maybe abducted by the aliens and we're getting PTSD flashbacks from it.
Okay, I'm going to argue with you on this, Julian. With Julian. Because it's
what did I do?
I'm not. No. Don't worry. It's not like anything crazy.
Fight.
But the Cowboys
Fight.
Let them fight. Cowboys versus aliens. I will tell you, the best concept of that recently is Nope by Jordan Peele.
That's also true.
Because that is just a bunch of dudes who exist out in LA, and there's an alien, and it's like a Western, basically, the way they do that movie and the way, like, long shots and stuff. It's not exactly Cowboys versus aliens, because it's not like in the
where's the Cowboys?
It's not the Wild West, but it is.
Where are the
like,
tumbleweeds?
You want to see, like,
I'm sorry, you're not selling this.
You want to see a green man come out with a blaster and have a standoff with the cowboy with the revolver?
100%.
Yeah, dude.
No. I think Julian's right. I think like a period type piece. That's
he's right.
Filmed,
No, I agree.
That's like that you see elements of like the Old West, and then you introduce aliens. Again, he's right. We don't have to keep talking about this because it's a 2011 movie. People have either seen it or not seen it. If you haven't, it's on Netflix. If you live in the US, great idea. Execution's a little slow for a 2 hour and 15-minute movie.
Yeah.
Also, Sam Rockwell's in that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Harrison Ford is another cowboy in that. Olivia Wilde, she's pretty.
Yeah, she is pretty.
Paul Dano is the Riddler, but he's also in this. That's crazy.
Is he really?
He is.
Yeah, he's in this apparently. Yeah, he's Percy something. He must be not a influential character, but he's in this.
Damn.
Bro, the cast
cool.
is stacked.
It is a stack.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. There's this character named Buck Taylor. Don't know who he is. Allegedly, he's an actor. I'm going to take their word for it. But his little picture here on Google makes him already look like a cowboy.
Oh my God, really? That's so funny.
He's probably just walking by the casting department and like, whoa, hold up.
Wait a minute.
I'm already dressed up.
Exactly. He's like, I got it. I am the man. I am the cowboy.
I got the works on me. All right, don't worry about it.
Anyway, KR, what movie do you think should be remade but good?
Remade but good? Ooh, I think there's. Oh, I just had one in mind and then I forgot about it.
You don't want to say the one that you were telling us off air?
What was I telling you off the air?
You guys were telling us Gotti. They should remake that movie and make it good. That's what you said. That's what you said.
You're right.
You said
I did
Gotti.
say that. I was gonna say Hotel Artemis.
Oh,
That's Shane
that's
Black,
peak.
and it's the whole idea that there's a hospital for criminals, basically. And the setup is
Jodie Foster, Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum, Sterling
Yeah, the
K.
Queen.
Brown, Charlie Day, Dave Bautista.
yeah.
Wow, this is
Again,
also a really good cast.
It's an incredible cast, and it's one of
Zachary
those.
Quinto.
Yeah, he plays a big part in that too. But it's one of those things that has such an incredible cast, incredible set design, but it seems like they kind of run out of steam
Budget
at some
halfway
point.
through. Oh,
No, not even budget. It's just it seems like it's executing what it wants to do, but the way the story is structured isn't good. But I think the concept of a hospital that's just for criminals is like a dope
it's a cool
idea.
concept.
Yeah, I think you could have room to do a lot with that, you know. And you don't even need to make it like a super intense thing. It could be like a comedic thing or like, you know, whatever it is. I'm not a real filmmaker, so I don't know, but I think that's a really cool concept to work with.
That is, I like that.
What's yours?
That sounds like a good. I've been looking for like bad movies. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I liked y'all's answers though. That's a good answer.
say a
I'm getting
really
some-
good movie just so people get upset.
All right, you got it.
a
I'm
good
gonna
movie.
say Back to the Future. needs
Empire
a
Strikes
remake.
Back.
Not gonna lie. Oh, Empire Strikes Back is also a good answer for this bit. That's good.
That's a good one.
Let me see. A lot of the movies on here, I don't know why, horrible movies that need a remake. This is a thing that someone created in October of 2022, but it's all mainly like superhero movies or Wild Wild West with Will Smith. I haven't watched that, so I can't say if that deserves it or not.
Okay,
I do
I'll
like
say
Will Smith,
this-
but
I'll say two superhero ones, either Spawn or Steel.
Spawn,
or
100%.
Steel.
Yeah.
Aren't we getting that though? Aren't we getting either like a TV or like a movie that's like updated? Is that
I mean, I did hear that Todd McFarlane is working on something
He wants to.
for Spawn, but
yeah?
It was going to be like a Blumhouse thing, and then like recently he was like, if there's no traction on this, I'm just going to make it myself.
Really?
He's like, I'm going to make
like,
a YouTube video, and it's going up straight on YouTube. That's what he said. It's going to be a TikTok. If you guys don't fund this,
it's going to be a TikTok. You're right.
Spun's getting a TikTok.
Yeah. Spun is getting a TikTok. Yeah.
I can't find any movies on here that I would be like, yeah, this deserves it. I don't think. This is upsetting. Oh wait, I got it. I got it. The year of our. Dang it. I don't know when this movie
Everything's
came
the year of our Lord.
Hell yeah, it is. Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt, Passengers should be better.
Oh,
remake that movie.
I feel like if they
but make it better.
If they switch the cast with Valerian, I feel like both those movies would have just done better.
Oh, the City of a Thousand Planets.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a remake of that too.
Oh, Matrix, but not Matrix.
It's yeah. Passengers. Yeah, because Passengers is just like another like drifting out into the whatever, and like you got to figure out how to fix shit. And then Valerian has like a crazy cast, but somehow it's like it runs out of steam a little bit. That's a good one.
It does. That is a good one. That's cool.
So
yeah, there you go. That'll be my answer. That way I don't leave without an answer. It's not a movie that I would be super excited to. It's not at the top of my list, but I can't think of like a bad movie at the moment.
Yeah.
Some people are saying like Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. They're like, do that one, but better.
Robin Hood? I don't give a fuck about Robin Hood.
Yeah, I don't either. People are saying Catwoman. Don't think that one deserves a remake. I wouldn't give it too much time.
I think
Super Mario Bros. We already got an
perfect as
animated.
it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't say that either.
It's perfect as it is. I do think a Catwoman show or movie would be great. I think you could do a lot.
Okay, wait. I got a real answer.
The show would be phenomenal.
I got a real answer.
What you got?
Even though maybe this was already done better by that movie Upgraded, which was like Venom but Cyborg, right?
It's better.
That's what Upgraded is, right?
Yeah.
So there are people that say that Hardcore Henry from 2015 should be a mediocre movie that gets a remake. I don't know if you guys remember this. This movie was entirely shot in first person.
It was really fun.
Oh, I haven't seen
some
this.
people really liked it, but if we can make it better, do that one, but better.
100%.
Would you want to keep the first person aspect of it?
Yeah. Like the concept seems really cool.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think it was executed as creatively as it could have. Like, you know how there's like really good movies that you're like, oh, Birdman is a oneer movie. And then you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, no, never mind. It works because they got creative with the oneer concept, right?
Exactly.
I think Hardcore Henry or a first person movie would be pretty cool.
Ooh, Bird Box. I think it was really hyped on, but I would want a remake with better story.
But, it's called A Quiet Place.
Boom, you really got him.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of which, have you seen the new trailer?
I did. Lupita. She's great.
It looks so fucking good.
It looks better than the first two, honestly. And it's got what's his name? Jamal Hansu, right? He's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Great cast. So I think I'm really hyped for that.
So I'm sorry, this is a sequel or a prequel?
Prequel.
Yeah. So the idea is because the first one takes place, I think, on day 450, I think.
Okay, so about a year after.
Yeah, like a little over a year. So this one's called A Quiet Place Day 1. So it's basically right when shit hits the fan.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
That's what I'm most excited for, seeing people like learn about these aliens and learn like the techniques that we're familiar with, like just putting sand on the ground and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of funny to just see people just fucking run to Home Depot and just take the sand. Just forget like chainsaws and shit. Just take sand.
It'll be like quarantine. Everyone runs for the toilet paper and soap.
Real.
Oh my god.
It'll be like that all over again. Okay, so I have 3 for you guys here, and I kind of want just a yes or no if you guys believe they deserve a remake.
Okay,
just a yes or no. 2020's Bloodshot, yes or no?
Not familiar.
Bloodshot is
say
the Vin
yes.
Diesel movie where he's a soldier that was killed but turned into a cybernetic war machine kind of thing.
Yeah.
He relives like his day or something like that. I don't know. He relives memories or something. Vin Diesel's in this.
Ain't that like RoboCop?
Kind of.
No. Well, not exactly. RoboCop is like
More robot than man.
yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's apparently like a Valiant comic series.
Yeah, Bloodshot, the movie was god awful, but nah. I mean, I think it could make like a good like a mini series. I think it could make
okay.
But no, I don't want to see a remake.
Oh, okay. What about you, Julian? Do you believe
I'm gonna
in
say no.
Vin
Sensei.
Diesel's acting?
Don't fully know.
Oh. Wow, you didn't even let me finish that. Jeez.
They're gonna ask if you believe in remakes. It's like, wait,
Do you believe in remakes? That's all right. Speaking of remakes,
Yes.
do this one. Ang Lee's very own 2019 Gemini Man.
Oh,
It's Gemini Man, but it sounds
Gemini.
funnier if I say Gemini Man.
No, you said it right. It is Gemini.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank you.
I don't care what everybody else says. That you said it.
The
right.
world
Anyone
says,
else
thank
says.
I think that can make a good. See, the concept works because
Yeah.
it's Will Smith, and it's like people have like an idea of how he is younger and stuff. I think the technology just didn't completely hit there. But also, it's a boring movie.
Yeah.
Like, it only gets interesting when Will Smith fights himself, and then the rest of the movie is just talking about shit. Like, it's just talking. That's the whole movie. And I'm
They're
like, I
like,
think
well, what if the universe has a clone of each one of us and we're younger, and what is time? Thoughts? And we're like, you answer the question. It's your movie. It's your movie. You answer it. I don't know.
it's a real. I think it could work because it's like a real Westworld in the sense where it's like, what's real, what's fake. It's like, do you prefer if you're younger? Like, does that have a body, or like does it have a consciousness to it? Like, it can bring up a lot of like really interesting discussions on that sense. But sure, I'd like to see a remake of that.
Julian, thoughts?
I do, especially with the concept alone. Concept's more interesting than the last one.
I think that this movie and the marketing focused too much on too many things. One of them was, look at Will Smith. He's back in a titular role, apart from like Bad Boys, which I think was released around the same time. Number two, they're like, look at us. We cloned Will Smith. And you're like, well, first of all, you're not making normal Will Smith look old enough. So his younger self kind of still looks just like himself. It just sounds a little different. And then three, they're like, well, do you want to watch it in 24 or 48 frames per second? And I'm like, my brother in Christ, how do you want me to see it? Why do I have to choose? Like, the movie itself should either be one of two options. Like, if you do want to have it in 3D, sure, go ahead and do it in 3D or whatever. But the normal experience, that's too much for audiences, right? What are you trying to promote? You're trying to promote Will Smith coming back in a titular role. You're trying to get us with nostalgia. Hey, just like your podcast, nostalgia because of a younger Will Smith, or is this? Are we going to change frame rates for the future of cinema? I think it tried to do too much, and so it suffered in the end.
Right. It's like the concept I feel like is strong enough, but it was a tech demo.
100%. It's one of those Unreal, The Matrix tech demos that you get on your PS5, and you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but you get bored of it after a while because it's just a tech demo.
Like, you have Will Smith. I mean, Ang Lee, I think, is a great director.
Also,
you have Will Smith, you have Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and you have Benedict Wong. Like, that sounds like it would be a great movie, but it's incredibly boring. And
also, just from like what we were able to see, and because they were focusing way so much on these other factors, I think that's why it also limited it to being a very boring movie, because you had the constraints of, well, we're going to have a CGI character for half of this movie, but we're also shooting with two different cameras because it's a variable frame rate, whatever. And no, I think it's just mainly those two, like on a technical aspect, but it felt very limiting. It never felt like, I don't know, you could always kind of feel the guardrails with this movie. You're like, oh, they clearly can't go beyond that because it's going to bug out or something. Like you mentioned, like a tech demo. Yeah.
The ending is just young Will Smith goes to college and he's kind of like his son.
No.
basically.
PS4 Will Smith goes to college.
Oh, my bad.
That scene, for whatever reason, even though it's the last one, they're like, yeah, don't even worry about it. render it at a 4th quality. No one will notice. Just put a lens flare over it. The sun, it's a perfect sunset ending. He's going to go to school now. And then he turns around like you're playing 2K. He's like, goodbye, young Will Smith. I love you, me-ho. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Word for word, in fact.
Word for word. Exactly.
And then there was this last one on this list. They're like, Ghosted should be remade. And I'm like, this came out 2023. What do you mean it should be remade?
Was it Ghost?
Ghosted is the Ghosted. Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Sebastian Stan is in this as well.
I don't give a fuck
about that movie. It came out on Apple TV Plus.
Okay, wait, no, the concept's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't...
For that one, I understand why someone would want to remake it.
What's the concept?
He falls in love with a spy.
Yeah.
Then,
this
he just gets
like,
kidnapped.
This is like that.
No. He goes to Paris.
So it's night and day.
That's what I was gonna say. This is Cameron Diaz, Tom Cruise, but opposite.
It's just gender swapped.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. So we already had it, and it came out before this, and it's better, I think.
But it sounds like Julian wants a remake, though.
Julian, do you want a remake?
I mean, I understand why they want the remake. I'm a bit
because it's a wasted.
Really
it's wasted potential. I think we should have Ana de Armas and Chris Evans together again, because obviously they already did Knives Out, and so we won't count this one. But if we're just talking about like on actors and actresses, I think remake it, but better. Also, don't just throw it on Apple TV, because clearly you didn't care for it.
I don't even think they were in the same room when they did that movie.
How dare you?
I'm not convinced they were.
The chemistry was there, obviously.
Obviously.
Anyway, sorry I went on this little rant for remaking movies.
No, but I mean, look.
No, you're good. It was fun.
It works. And I'll tell you right now, speaking of remakes, I will go back to our musicals thing, because you mentioned Jon Favreau, Cowboys vs. Aliens. Jon Favreau is responsible for all these amazing Disney movies that have all these great musical numbers, and basically making remakes of them in a live action setting. And it's watered down and it's terrible. And that is where musicals have went to die.
That's a good connection.
Ooh, I would want to see them remake the whole dark universe concept that they had cooking, because I want more monster films.
Yeah.
And if the first one was successful enough, maybe we would have been lucky.
The Mummy, great movie. I don't know if you've seen the new Invisible Man. That's also a great movie. I just don't think they should.
I was going to say, I loved Invisible Man, the A24 produced one. Was it A24? Blumhouse, right?
Blumhouse, yeah.
Yeah, Blumhouse. Only for a little over $7 million. They're like, how can we really scare people? And it's like, well, the way to scare them is to have like the luring presence there. But since we don't even have to really show him, I also thought the plot twist was very clever. And I'm like, just spin off the dark universe into like a low budget, this kind of thing. And I thought that's what they were going to do with, what's the other one? The Candyman. I thought the Candyman and Invisible Man were going to be in the same universe.
Candyman's such a good movie. The new one. It's incredible.
I thought that's what they were going to do, but I guess not. And I'm still waiting for a sequel, because I thought, well, I mean, spoilers. Invisible Man 2 did get an update from Blumhouse December of 22. And so we haven't heard about it since then, because in 23 we got Megan Mithrigan. Sorry. Whatever. And so they just focused on that because that made a gajillion dollars or whatever.
And she danced.
Sorry, that's what.
And she danced.
What's the name of the actress in Invisible Man? What's her name? Elizabeth? Is her name Elizabeth?
Oh, Elizabeth Moss, I think.
Yeah, Elizabeth Moss didn't do a dance because she was scared out of her life, and she saw her best friend get not decapitated, but hurt in front of her, hurt to death, I guess, in front of her. Yeah. She should have done a little dance instead. That's what I've always said.
I agree with the Dark Universe thing, because I think the fact that they still haven't made a good Frankenstein movie or Frankenstein's monster movie is it's just a scientist that's obsessed with creating life. I feel like that's like a super sure thing, and then they've never been able to do it right.
Upsetting.
But
what would be What would be like a close similarity that you think could be as close as the Dr. Frankenstein wanting to create life in something else that isn't a monster type movie?
Westworld.
Do you think Westworld? Okay, that would be
The
like
show.
a good example. Yeah. Wow, you're right.
Because it's all about the concept of consciousness and like
What is
the
life?
idea of- right. What is life? Like it's not only about creating life, it's about existing life, right? And the impact that all that has, and like depravity and life and death and how they interact and what people want out of life that's manufactured for them more than created for them, or they're taught to learn to want. I think all that is great, and I'm talking about like the first 2 seasons of Westworld, not the last 2. But yeah, I think that's a good example of that.
That's a cool idea. Anyway, remake the monster universe, bring back Tom Cruise, have him be new Mummy, release the trailer without music and just sound effects and the ADR, commit all of these same mistakes, and maybe it'll be good again.
That sounds like a good idea.
And bring in that guy from New Girl.
Right? Yeah.
Bring in you from New Girl. Wait, who are we bringing in?
Jake Johnson.
Yeah. New Girl.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
What do you want him to do?
He's gonna be
He
like
was just in it, and I thought it was really funny.
yeah, he's gonna be the
Okay.
funny guy, but he's somehow gonna be the least charming he's ever been in anything.
He was in The Mummy. I forgot about that.
I have a better idea for your concept, by the way. Since we're making this larger universe, I think it's a smart idea to bring in, like, because we like another monster is like Mr. Hyde. I think just like maybe we should shoehorn him in there, and like the ending of Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he walks through Oscorp and stuff, because that went so well the first time. Why don't we do
100%.
that in this and just show all the different
Ooh.
monsters and stuff?
Absolutely peak.
And then at the end, there should be someone that almost kind of looks at the camera, but it's slightly off camera, and they say, "Let the games begin," and that'll really get people hyped.
Yeah, because like, what does that mean? That's what the
Nothing, it
audience is
turns
gonna
out.
think. And that's also
oh.
what the director is gonna think.
Yeah, and the producers.
But yeah, it's like, let the games begin. What would you want though out of a dark universe, like making it all connected? Because I think that's pointless. Because like,
Do you want a big team up movie of monsters towards like the middle of the franchise, or what would you want, Julian?
I like the idea of them trying to record the existence of the monsters and having it spin off into the different perspectives.
That's good.
okay,
You mentioned this in the last podcast, which we obviously didn't record back to back, but you mentioned this in the last podcast where you said that Man of Steel you really liked because it had a unique direction to it. And I was going to mention to that, boy, it would have been really interesting to see other superheroes, like Zack Snyder had mentioned in his time, in like this faux documentary feeling where the camera is loose and like there aren't any like, you don't feel like it's like craned up or like on any like tripods, because like you're observing the universe as if it were a documentary.
yeah, right.
I think taking that approach to any universe would be really interesting. I think even within like the Marvel universe, I think if you don't want to like bring in existing characters or whatever, and you want to do something original for like we've mentioned, like a teeny tiny budget of, I don't know, what's teeny tiny, like $20 million or whatever, make a show of people living in the Marvel universe.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And just have them react to the world as it's happening in real time. I think that would be really interesting for any universe.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I remember looking a while ago. I think someone made a fan film about the snap, and it's about a family, like, grieving the loss of their family member because they just disappeared from the snap.
Because like for us, it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, well the snap only lasted 5 years, right? But the people in universe didn't know that it was going to be 5 years.
Right. Yeah, like COVID was, happening for like, let's say about like 2 years ish.
Yeah.
That felt like a fucking eternity at the time. But
It
now
did.
we can look
It
back
did.
and be like, oh, it's done. It's not like
Tiger King.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like while you're going through it how long it'll last. how bad it's gonna get, you know. And for all intents and purposes, this is like a, you know, almost a genocidal event across the country or all across the world, you know. So I think that would just be so fascinating to look at that, you know, but also just like the bird's eye view. I think this is kind of why you'd like Daredevil a little bit, because they'll acknowledge the Avengers sometimes, like very, very few times, but it shows
the incident.
Yeah, right. But it shows like how certain people, you know, were displaced or affected. Jessica Jones is also really good at showing that. Like how certain people don't trust, you know, powered people and all that stuff. Just like the average person and stuff. And I think that shit is incredible. Like very fascinating to look at, you know?
What I'm saying basically is that I think that if you want to do something creative and have it be successful, you should look at the hit TV show Powerless that ran for only one season, canceled in the middle of the season in 2017, starting my childhood crush, Vanessa Hudgens.
Yes.
That's what
High
I'm
School
saying,
Musical.
basically. High School Musical's very own Vanessa Hudgens.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. All universes should be like the Powerless universe, where no one's like name dropped for real. Things kind of happen off camera. The CGI is terrible. The characters aren't likable, and all of the above.
That is a show I'd like to see remade. Because even the concept,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
The concept of like they'll just like walk one day and then like, oh shit, there's like a giant fucking battle that's happening on their commute and shit like
They're
that.
like, the train fell again.
You know, it's like very matter of fact.
I do hope that I had insurance for this, because that's the whole show's like based on the insurance company, right?
Yeah, right.
No, that was the old concept.
Oh, what was it then? What was this
so
one?
the old show was them being doing insurance shit for superhero collateral damage. New one is them working under Bruce Wayne's cousin.
Yeah.
And just creating random products for
Van Wayne.
So like they pitched kryptonite glass so Superman doesn't have to, fly through buildings. And then they're like, what if there's a fire and you need Superman in? It's weird. It's like a worse version of Better Off Ted, if anyone knows that show.
I haven't seen Better Off Ted.
It's better.
It's from what I've heard. From what I've heard, this NBC show, which is known for having just hit show after hit show, right? NBC. People have said that the standard for comic book shows, it's Smallville and then Powerless. People have ranked those two together, and I agree. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
I agree.
Okay.
That's what people have said. I'm a man of the people. I don't know if you guys know that, and I speak for the people.
You've always been a man of the people,
That's what they tell me. The people say that I am a man of the people.
Yeah. I literally had a phone conversation with the people,
Really?
and they were like, yeah, he's our man.
He's the man of the people. You're right.
Yeah.
You know how bad this got, by the way? I was looking a little bit more into it. NBC only premiered episodes 1 through 9, and then 10 through 12 were on something called NVNZ On Demand. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
TVNZ On Demand aired the last 2 episodes.
And after Adam West died, then NBC was like, oh shit, and uploads the Adam West episode on YouTube. Because it was like fully canceled by that time.
Oh, there it is.
They weren't going to air the second half of the season.
So apparently the US on TV never saw the ending of this, because TVNZ Plus is a New Zealand television streaming service.
Yeah, no.
So America never saw the end of this show?
Not when it was coming out.
So America thinks the show's still going on?
Oh, no. We definitely know it's canceled.
Oh, okay.
But as from what I remember, there was no ending, really.
You're right, because Google says that the first episode has a date, but there's no last episode. So theoretically, this show's still going on, but we don't know it.
Dude, good for them.
Yeah, good for Vanessa Hudgens. I love her.
Yeah, I do like that concept, though. The Powerless idea. Or just a civilian perspective on the universe.
100%. That would have been really nice.
This is why I've said if they made The Question as a show, it's just in the DC universe, the idea that there's all these powerful like whatever, and he's just a detective kind of person. He's a newscaster
cool.
who just like investigates things. And I love the idea that like it's weird because I think Gotham had the idea but didn't do it well. The idea that like, oh, there's like things that happen in the universe, like, oh yeah, this crime is related to Ace Chemicals and shit like that. And I like that idea, the fact that it's in the world, but I don't think everything has to be related to like, oh, it's a superpower or something, you know. So I thought a question show could literally just be like, oh, you know, something happened here, and like investigating into that, because those are the type of things that superheroes would never bother themselves with, you know.
Who would you cast for that, and where would you throw it up? Would this be like a Max exclusive in your mind? Do you have a specific actor that you want to portray?
I think so. I made a fan trailer a while ago. I think it'd be a great HBO show. If it was like 20 years ago, I would have said Hugh Laurie.
God, imagine. My sister and I talk about Hugh Laurie all the time because she sent me this one like thirst tweet of Hugh Laurie from House, and she's like, "Is this you in your alt account?" And I'm like, "Don't even worry about it, my guy." And so now she just sends me a whole bunch of Hugh Laurie stuff. But yeah, I could totally picture Hugh Laurie. I've only seen him in like animated shows. I've never read the Question comic book, but he that show that you're pitching right now, that sounds super interesting. It sounds very Sherlock Holmesy. It feels like very like third person perspective of like this bigger like superhero universe. So I like it.
I think two cast people I'd maybe do is either, because of Blade Runner 2049 and Drive, I feel like Ryan Gosling would be a great pick for that. And then maybe shit, I forgot his name. Domhnall Gleeson. I think he would also be a great fit. Those are my ideas.
I like that. I like that.
What did you send? Oh, what is this?
Don't worry about it. We can watch that together later.
Okay. I got you.
Get hyped. Get hyped.
Get
I love
hyped.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Get hyped. Get hyped.
I don't know. It's because I was reading through the Powerless whatever wiki, and it turns out episode 4 is technically the pilot, but there is an unaired pilot. I don't know. The production behind that was real messy because I don't even think they knew what to do with it. Because I don't even know if NBC had like the rights to like, you know how for a long time we're like, well, the Flash can't say Batman. They can't say Superman. Like the Arrowverse can't say these names because it'll cost like every time that you mention it or whatever. Like clearly NBC's like, yeah, we have this collaboration that we can do with like DC Comics, but we can't use any of the big names. So like we can have Bruce Wayne.
What, they got Crimson Fox though?
Yeah. Everyone's favorite Crimson Fox.
Everyone's favorite.
I think they give you money if you mention
they'll
Crimson
pay
Fox.
you if you say. I think they're going to pay us for saying Crimson Fox right now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that check.
It says right here, I Googled him because I'm like, who is this? Oh, you're right. Crimson Fox is in the Powerless show. She appears in that whatever unaired pilot or whatever. Crimson Fox is a code name for two superheroes appearing in. Oh wait, what am I saying wrong? What happened? She what?
She's a semi-regular guest star.
I don't remember her
in the show Powerless, and then powers and abilities. It just says agility.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
Which, by the way,
there's an episode where like
I need to rewatch Powerless. I don't remember any of this.
What were you saying, Julian?
There's an episode where she just gets frozen to death. Not to death. She just gets frozen. She just jumps in and then immediately gets frozen and just stays there for like I think half of the episode. And I love it.
Do they run out of budget?
She's absolutely useless.
This is really funny for me because in the TV show, she's played by Deanna Russo, who was the love interest in the 2008 Knight Rider show, also for NBC, that also didn't get past the first season. So she was on a hot streak of NBC shitty shows.
Good for her.
I'll tell you, do you know who was also within that streak? Fucking Adrienne Palicki?
Oh, God bless her soul. Yeah.
She's Wonder Woman, gets canned. She's in G.I. Joe, a terrible movie. She's good in it. You know, she did that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, was in that pilot. What?
At least now she has the Orville. I mean, it ended, but she did 5 straight years of the Orville.
She did. Yeah.
Which people like.
Finally.
But you're right. She even got a pilot that never aired for Most Wanted.
Yeah.
For Marvel's Most Wanted. Yeah.
Which I would have loved to see.
But done right.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because isn't Most Wanted like a name given to two other heroes, or is it just like any 2 heroes that like team up? What's their names? They're the guys on Netflix. Big guy Luke Cage and Iron Fist, aren't they Most Wanted?
No, that's Heroes for Hire.
Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Ah, what's Most Wanted then? What am I confusing that with?
I think that's something else.
Marvel.
I think you're mixing it up with like.
What am I confusing?
FBI's Most Wanted.
You're mixing it up with FBI.
You're right, with just the FBI.
Yeah.
You're right. I guess I'm stupid. And Most Wanted was just the name for this. Yeah, that's weird.
Mm.
And it was just supposed to be the titular characters, Bobby Morse and Lance Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a code name?
No. Well, hers was Mockingbird, I think.
Oh.
I don't remember what his was. He was whatever.
Yeah, he wasn't hot.
Dude, L.
Which, by the way, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. deserves more love. They literally had Ghost Rider. And
A really good looking Ghost Rider.
very good. Yes. Very, very beautiful man. Think about just ABC budget. They really did extremely well with Ghost Rider. Which, by the way, Ghost Rider needs more content in general.
It's crazy. All right, you guys ready for this? As far as it compares to Marvel Television, the average episode budget for something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been reported to be 6 to 9 million per episode. So let's grab that middle one. Let's say it was 8 million times how many episodes were there in a season?
Usually like 20
something, 21 maybe.
Yeah, because it was ABC, right? They forced 20 episodes.
Yeah.
So in total, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let's say an approximation, had $176 million of budget.
For the whole season.
For the whole season. And then Secret Invasion, a 6-episode show had what, 250 million?
What the fuck?
Are
And
you
one
kidding
looks
me?
way better than the other.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And they both have Samuel L. Jackson to different degrees, but
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has Samuel L. Jackson upset about a fish tank.
Yeah.
If I remember that cameo correctly.
That's exactly what happens. Yeah. And he comes at the end to fight Deathlock and the Clairvoyants.
I remember that. It's mainly a gunfight, but, still better than weird CGI Drax arm fight.
Oh, I mean, I'll take that any day.
Any day of the week. Yeah, I agree.
And I was such an idiot, though, when I watched the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I didn't realize the idea of TV budget for some reason, because I was like, they kept teasing in the first season the Clairvoyant. He just like always knows what's going to happen or whatever. And I was like, dude, are they going to do the leader? But then they did Ghost Rider. So what am I saying?
Oh, man, I forgot about John Garrett. Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good show. Good for them.
Good for
Way
them.
ahead of their time. I can't remember if...
For a network
Disney-
show?
Yeah, definitely. Especially for a network show. Do you guys remember when The Flash is like, yeah, we're actually connected to the Flash movie, but the Flash movie said, we're not connected to the TV show.
I do remember that.
Yeah, terrible time.
I remember when it broke the
And that was
internet.
the best Ezra Miller was as the Flash.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of funny because even when I was watching the Flash movie, I was like, if this was just in Central City, I think I'd really like this movie, And then it's in everything but Central City for most of the movie.
Wouldn't-
everything but a Flash movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Most
Hey,
of
I
the
was
movie.
about to say, wouldn't you have preferred if this was a Flash movie?
I would have. Yeah. Imagine not seeing multiple versions of Flash. That's funny.
Imagine doing a multiverse storyline that is completely different than his most famous multiverse storyline, where he met Jake Eric.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Imagine not doing Flash with 2 worlds. Imagine just CGI balls just hitting each other and he's just watching them.
Imagine having multiple actors who are still alive who have played other DC characters, but deciding to use like low poly, smooth surfaced CGI versions of characters that we've seen in time past.
Imagine.
I can't imagine all those things.
I can still imagine because I haven't watched
Imagine
it.
having full control of cameos and then just doing Superman.
Yeah, right.
But not Henry Cavill or Brandon Routh Superman or Tyler, what's his last name?
Yeah,
None of
okay.
those Superman.
That was the funniest thing about that. I was like, Brandon Routh's version of Superman is literally more or less, a reincarnation of Christopher Reeves. Why the fuck wouldn't you just get him? He wore the Kingdom Come suit in like CW, and that's easily like the best look. Is it hard to do that? Like, and also, regardless of how the Flash has gotten worse in quality over time, it was a very beloved show at the time. It brought Flash to the mainstream. And you don't acknowledge it at all. Like, I just don't get. They just didn't have a pulse on anything. I was like,
what did you expect? What did you expect? You guys remember when James Gunn said this is the best movie of the history of movies?
I mean,
Remember when Tom Cruise said that?
Yeah,
That's
right.
true.
Tom Cruise said that. I think Stephen King also said something.
You remember when Tom Cruise was in the middle of the ocean on top of an airplane with his director doing barrel rolls and saying, yeah, The Flash was a great movie? You guys remember that?
It's funny. I remember all these things.
Tom Cruise, Action Man. Yes. Hell yeah.
Action Man. I still think Hal Jordan is like right up his alley.
He can still do it. So I need you guys to remind me again. This guy, what's his name? Oh, you just said it and I forgot his name. Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
He was before John Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is a perfect time. We can have like a little cameo from Tom Cruise as a Green Lantern. And he's like, my time has come to retire the ring. Go find John Stewart, not the comedian from The Daily Show, but the black man who will now become a Green Lantern.
Yeah,
you're right. It's still right up his alley. I think Tom Cruise has he ever been a superhero? He's never been in real life, he's a superhero, but like in movies, he hasn't done like a superhero thing, right?
The superhero cult leader. Yeah, that's what he is in real life. Exactly. But he was going to play Tony Stark. I know that much.
That's right.
Yeah, but he's never played a superhero. I mean, if we don't call Ethan Hunt a superhero,
he basically is at this point.
He only cares about.
He was also going to be Jack Reacher, or he was Jack Reacher.
He was Jack Reacher,
which is funny comparing him to what's his name, Alan Richardson.
What are you talking about? That's exactly the same thing. You put those two men right side by side. I can't tell the difference. I don't know about you.
Same height, I'd say.
Yeah.
Same back, I'd say.
Yeah, one is not 5 inches taller than the other at all.
Nah.
At all. Have you guys seen Reacher, actually?
I haven't. I need to, because everyone says how great his back looks on the show. And I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it for those back shots. Am I right, boys?
Got him. Yeah, he's looks crazy good in that. But yeah, season 1 is really good. Season 2, I'm less, tied to, but season 1's a great watch.
I have not finished season 2, but I love season 1.
Yeah. Because season 2,
it's really just like he finds himself in this scenario where he just needs to fight his way out of any situation. I'm like, that's satisfying.
It's pretty good. It's funny because Reacher does the thing that I always hope in movies, just to, like you always watch a movie and you're like, fucking kill him, fucking beat the shit out of him. And it's always the hero. And like, that's why I'm not a hero, is like the hero is like, has restraint and is like, I can't kill you. You're gonna face justice, whatever. Reacher doesn't give a fuck. He'll do exactly what I want him to do. And that's why I like the show.
Yeah. There's also like 20 books in the series. I was like looking into the series and I was like flabbergasted by the amount of books Jack Reacher has.
You say 20?
I think so. It was like a huge amount.
I've never read anything, so I don't know.
You were wrong. It's 29, and there's a 2-parter coming out in October. Sorry, not a 2-parter. This is a
5-parter.
No, not a 5-parter. Sorry. It's because he always releases them. The author has been, the last couple of years, he's been releasing them in October. So I thought it's October.
Lee Child is still alive?
God bless his heart.
Damn.
Is he? I don't know if it's still the same writer.
Okay.
It should be, right? Because it's his.
I mean, they continued Born even long
Jack
after the
Reacher
author
is a
died.
series of novels, novellas, and short stories by British author Jim Grant under the pen name Lee Child. As of January 2022, the series includes 28 books and a short story collection. There you go. So wait, what's a British guy doing writing about a U.S. Army Marine Police Corps now drifter guy? What does he know about America? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, say, can you see?
By the
It's the musical podcast episode.
It is a musical podcast. We talked about musicals.
We did.
It's
Either in this one or in the last one.
It's come full circle, I feel like.
There you go. Anyway, Jack Reacher, 28 books. If anyone's got a chance to read them all, let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I'd like to know because
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Guys, there's 47 stories
Holy.
Of
Jack Reacher, because I was only counting the books, but like counting the short stories, there's 47 of them. 48 when they release the next one in October. He writes one per year.
That must be a nice paycheck.
I mean,
guess.
Alan Richardson can play him till he's 70.
Yeah.
He can do it.
I'll believe it.
I also so here's a fun connection, even though I don't think they're exactly the same, but I'm also biased because of what's the guy's name? What's his last name?
Alan Richardson.
Richardson?
Alan Richardson or Richson. So
Richin.
just like the last Jack Reacher was part of a church, you know, it's technically a church, even though Scientology is more of a cult than a you know.
Yeah, shout out Tom Cruise.
This shout out Tom Cruise. I didn't know, but Alan's a Christian, and he's like an open Christian, and he's like, man, it's a blessing. Like, people criticize me because I do these action movies, but I'm like, hey, you know, this is my art or whatever. I still love God. I'm like, that's a good way to look at it. I like you, man. I
Yeah.
like that because like there's a difference, right? There's the artist, and then there's the person who does the art, I guess. And I think there's a very clear line. So I didn't know that about him. I didn't know if you guys knew that about him.
Yeah, I didn't know that about him until I listened to Inside of You, the podcast with Michael Rosenbaum.
Dun dun
And-
dun dun.
Inside of You.
Yeah. Good podcast.
But he talked about like well-being and stuff, and he said he had a page about talking about mental health and all that stuff. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh wow, he has like a Christian page, and I didn't realize that he was that kind of person. But hey, he can be that
Power
person.
to him.
Yeah, I'm not Christian, so I don't know shit like that. But
I am, so I'm allowed to criticize him.
you get the pass.
Exactly.
What is he doing wrong? Tell me.
Exactly. He's being an action star. He's too big. That's a sin. Nobody should be that big. Have you seen the back shots? That's a sin. Back shots.
Back shots are also a sin. Both of them.
Both of them. Anyway, no. Super cool guy, super big guy. I gotta watch that show. I'll let you guys. I'll let you know when I watch that show. But good stuff.
Yeah, let me
sure.
know what you think of his back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
you
was
got it.
Aquaman.
I'll definitely let you know. Yeah, he was in his Smallville. He was also the Hawk or whatever.
Yeah. He was. Yeah. And he's huge in everything. And
And he should be Batman.
listen, Smallville stuff. We have two alums in Reacher, if you don't know. Lana Lang herself is in Reacher.
She's also in Reacher?
Yeah.
No way.
And then
Oh,
season
yeah.
2. Yeah, season 2 Zatanna is in Reacher.
I remember Zatanna. I remember she was pretty. Who is that?
Sorinda Swan, I think is her name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's still very pretty. Wow. Those eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
pretty
they've
eyes.
all aged.
gracefully.
Yeah, in my opinion, they look better now.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and clearly
That's
the
crazy.
casting director loves Smallville, which
Yeah.
hey, power to them.
Hey, I agree.
Yeah, it's my Bible. All right, don't worry.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Do you guys know an executive producer for the show is still Christopher McQuarrie
For what
for Reacher?
is Christopher McQuarrie?
Yeah, he's still an executive producer.
Oh, that makes sense. There's a reason why the action's really good in that.
And he was, and he wasn't, but I guess he must have worked with Tom Cruise at that point already when he did that movie. I thought I had read something that
I think he did.
that he also.
Yeah. I think that's how he met.
Oh yeah,
him.
he was also produced. Yeah, so he must have something to do with the rights, at least like film rights or distribution or
to Reacher.
I don't know, film and TV for Reacher. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah. I always think about how he was gonna do he wanted to do like a Superman Green Lantern thing with Henry Cavill.
God, so many missed opportunities.
Yeah.
That's all of DC.
Yeah, right, exactly. DC has like the reputation of doing the thing of the person who wants to create content but never puts it out. Is always like, I'm working on this thing. I'm working on it, and
Fucking
then next
me.
week. I wasn't gonna say
Doomsday
anything,
clock.
and then you said it. Eduardo, do you ever go back to fan editing at all, or is it just more of
I have so
He
many
promised
thoughts
me-
for it. What did I promise? Which one did I promise?
We'd go back.
oh, that's it?
He was like, I'll come back.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
I'll come back
okay, cool.
eventually. That's what I said. Yeah, I didn't say when though.
Yeah.
I didn't say when. I said
I'm not
I
saying it's like
have-
a requirement or anything. I was just
What I
curious if
said-
you are or not.
what I said, and this will be, I think we could end with this announcement. A lot
Okay.
of people have been asking for it. And by that, I mean nobody. I will come back to do
I'm
one
asking.
final fan edit, and it's going to be for everyone's most anticipated movie that we didn't get to see from the Snyderverse. As everyone knows, I'm a huge fan of this IP and of this franchise and of this director. So I'm pleased to use your podcast as a way to announce that I'm working on Steven Spielberg's Blackhawk as my final.
Let's
fan edit.
go.
Oh,
Fucking W.
I'm really interested in what you do with that.
It's just gonna be a bunch of World War II planes. It's not. It's just that there isn't
Okay,
anything
cool.
there. I don't
That's
know what
fine.
Steven Spielberg saw in that. I don't even think that conversation was real. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he said it at like over like he probably wrote it down in like notes and was just like, I might make something. And Warner Brothers was like, get that shit on the record.
Tweet it out. That won't age poorly. Tweet it.
Tweet it. Because
God, that was
tweets
so
always
stupid.
age gracefully.
We have a script that's very
100%.
good. Said, who said this? David Coep. We have a script that is very good. There's a lot of management changes at Warner Brothers, so I think they're just waiting for that to settle down and for them to decide what they want to do with their DC universe. Cope also touched on Spielberg's potential involvement. What do you mean potential? You guys made a whole tweet saying that it was happening. Anyway.
Potential.
Potential.
It's like I might. I'm too
That's
busy
really
making-
shooting your shot, by the way. Hey, this is turning into a relationship podcast. If you think that you're not enough for that special someone and you're like, I can't shoot my shot, just remember that a scrambling, shitty version of DC executives are like, yeah, Steven Spielberg, one of Earth's greatest directors of all time, he's working on one of our movies. And they said that and they made that public, and Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg never commented on that. So if these people have the audacity, the cojones to do that, then you should do whatever. Inspiring. That's what this is. Inspiring.
Yeah. DC cuts out like Coyote and Acme without watching it. The same thing with Batgirl.
God.
That also goes into relationship.
Absolutely tragic.
Look, if you don't know anything about whoever you're going for, don't do it. Like, that's weird.
That also goes into relationships. If you want to waste X amount of millions of dollars and then not release anything, yeah, you go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
That's good. If you want to do that for tax breaks, because obviously you want to get a big paycheck at the end of the year from the money that you didn't spend and then it turns out to be a bonus for you, you do that. This is all getting very specific to this specific thing, but
I mean, you would know you're a married man. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Do it for the tax cuts. Don't do it for love. Do it for the tax cuts.
Real.
I don't know. Blackhawks,
I think that's
the film that never was.
speaking of tax cuts, we ran out of budget for this episode. So that'll be the edit of this episode. And I just want to thank our great guest, Eduardo, for coming by.
Hey, I want to thank you guys for having me on I'm excited for the future of the DC movies, the Marvel movies, this podcast, the world in general, elections 2024. Man, so much to look forward to.
And none of them give us stress at all.
No, such a peaceful time. 2024, that's the motto. Peace, baby, peace. That's what it sounds like.
You sound peaceful, you know?
Hey, we're having a good time
And
here.
I will
Look,
be a peacemaker.
look. Oh, nice. That's a good reference to another popular DC character, just like the Blackhawks. They're peaceful guys. That's why I'm excited. That movie's coming out sooner or later. That's what gives me hope. That's
They're
what
very
gives me
sad.
peace.
It is true.
Yeah. Which would have featured the titular hero and a squadron of fighters taking on the Nazis during World War II. Yeah, that's peaceful, man. Yeah.
That's peaceful. I've always been about peace, no matter how many people I kill. Anyways.
Hell yeah. I love you, Spielberg. Yeah. Mm.
Do you have anything you want to shout out before we close it out?
Hey, I want to shout out you two. You guys are great. Thank you so much for having me on. This was a blast. I'm glad I got to get everything off of my chest. I love everything that you guys are doing. I love those clips that you guys upload on the Tickety Talk. That's a good app for little short form content and out of context conversations. That's good.
What was that, Julian?
I was sharing with him.
Oh my God.
He was he was excited for TikTok.
I do want to. I want to shout out one thing.
Okay.
Everybody, please go watch the best fan trailer TV spot that I've ever seen in my life. It is from our very own L Edits.
Oh, that's too
I'm
nice.
just going right now. The Flash Point Paradox musical special TV spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely peak.
That is good. I also want to shout out also on our favorite man Eduardo's page, the Flash music video for Running Home to You. That is also a great watch, and play it every day because you need more things like that in your life to better it. You know, consider this a prescription. I'm not a practitioner, but that could be. Anyways,
Hey, while we're shouting stuff out, I want to shout out my own video. You know,
Yeah,
I
go
used to
for
make
it.
little things 7 years ago when we were waiting for the Justice League to come out. I made a TV spot that included a funny bit. It's only 30 seconds of your time. That could be a TikTok of its own. Go watch that, huh? There's no joke there. It's a real video. I delivered on what Zack Snyder. Listen to me. I delivered on what Zack Snyder never could. He said, unite the 7. We only got 6 people in the Justice League. I gave the audience, the world, the DC fandom, the 7th member of the Justice League in the Justice League TV spot fan made that I uploaded 7 years ago. So go check that out. Hey, brand new content just for you.
yeah, check that out.
Brand new.
Yeah. And of course, he makes a lot of political reels and short films on his TikTok and Instagram. So please check that out. Anything specific for that you want to shout out also?
No, I mean, if you speak Spanish, the majority of the content that I do is in Spanish, even though I should dub my own content. That way it's also in English, because my wife's like, I feel like more people in English would care about it. And I'm like, yeah. But they already have a lot of people talking about what I'm talking about in Spanish, but in English. So if you speak Spanish, go check it out. All of my social media is Chuntillo, Chuntillo. That's YouTube. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. That's Facebook. That's TikTok. I'm everywhere under that username.
That's facts. And I'm everywhere at KR Presents. Julian, my favorite co-host, is also pretty much everywhere, I think. Is it all at Julian Bell, or is it other things?
At the Julian Bell. I think the Julian Bell is the one that's the consistent.
Okay.
across the board.
For sure. And if you like this podcast, please leave a review or leave a comment and share it with your friends. We don't just talk about comics. We talk about movies. We talk about TV shows, and we talk about random things like
Politics.
Politics sometimes, whenever we get to it, and also Dune popcorn buckets and
Buckets. Yeah, let's go.
the more important one. But yeah. Anyways, this is the Nostalgia Bait podcast. My name is KR Presents.
And I'm Julian.
Oh, hey, and I'm Eduardo Chuntillo. They called me Mr. Cool Guy. They called me El Grandioso Maestro. That's what they called me. The true story. That's me.
Exactly. And with Mr. Cool Guy's blessing, we'll see you guys on the next episode. All right, peace out.